Hey guys, it's Miss Madison Realty of Christie's, and welcome back to the Seller Series, which is a 4-part series on how to actually sell your home. Last week and weeks prior, we went over setting the right price. We discussed the showing process. We discussed how to accept an offer. And now that we have accepted an offer, it's now time for us to get to more work. So we're actually going to do an inspection. We're going to go down to City Hall and apply for a certificate of occupancy. And what they're going to do, the city inspectors, they're going to ensure that your home is up to code. We're also going to have the fire department come out again to make sure the house is up to code and there are no hazardous items lingering around for the buyer. We are going to also do a final water read on the property because when the buyer runs title, we want to make sure that the house is lien free for the next purchaser. Once the lender says clear to close, you are going to meet with your attorney and review your seller docs. You have already by now sent over your mortgage payoff, and your attorney has actually sent it over to the title company, because your actual closing disclosure, which is a part of your closing packet, is the very first thing, is the very first itemized number on the closing disclosure. So it begins with the purchase price and the mortgage paid off. And some of the fees that may be on the actual closing disclosure for the seller will be the realtor's commission, the New Jersey transfer tax. There may be taxes held in escrow, and there's some nominal fees that we'll actually go over when I present to you. When I can show you prior, when me or the attorney meet with you in reference to your closing disclosure. Now, your attorney actually meets with you, but prior, let's just say on our consultation, I'll have a draft of what a closing disclosure may look like, so you're not surprised. That is what I meant. Okay, so you're at your attorney's office prior to the closing. You're going over your seller docs. You are also going to be transferring the deed over to the buyer, and typically on the day of closing, the seller does not come to the closing because you have already met with your attorney and signed all of your documentation. So once we have a complete packet, your attorney is then going to overnight all of your seller docs. Now, I've seen in Hudson County where they like to have them Ubered, but I think that was just a one-time thing. No shade, no tea. I'm just saying, sometimes we do what we have to do to make sure that the deal continues to go. So once your seller docs are in, by now the borrower and their agent are at the closing table, and the buyer's signing off their documentation. And what we're waiting for is that special word or phrase: we have funding. So once we have actually funding on the transaction, the title company is going to wire the wire the proceeds to your account. And I think that is about it. I'm just going over my notes really quickly just to make sure we went over everything. We did our seller docs. We talked about the mortgage payoff. We talked about what's on the closing disclosure. You have already given your keys over to the agent for the borrower. We've conveyed the deed, and you have earned your proceeds. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Seller Series. I hope that this was informative, and we will see you guys in the summer. Peace.